Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another live stream slash recording of Hearthstone. Today is May the 8th, and we are now in our third recording. We have two more Druid victories we want to get, and then we can move on to Hunter. So ideally, I want to finish everything in the next 30 minutes. We don't have anybody who's friended me or anything like that that wants to live stream. Last time I was uploading videos, and I won't do that again, hopefully. I'll certainly try it, and because I was uploading videos, two comments that Loki specifically made where he wanted to play me didn't even show up in on my network, oddly. So I have my comments on my cell phone, which is a different computer than my PC that I'm playing on right now, but the uploads and the streaming of the upload took all of my bandwidth as far as upload, because I don't have much upload bandwidth. I'm not ready to really try to upgrade it too much, and I don't have very many good offers for upload speed. So I get like 5 megabits per second, and if I'm uploading to YouTube, that takes almost all of it. And so I didn't even see the comments that Loki had put on last time where he wanted to play me, and unfortunately Loki's not even online right now, so he's not gonna be able to play me in this stream probably either. And I'm specifically pointing out Loki because Loki has wanted to play me a lot. And he puts out a lot of comments on my videos when he finds them and gets the notification that they're on. So I just want to officially apologize for that. I did comment at the end after I saw that and said, oh yeah, oops. Because it did seem to me almost like I was intentionally ignoring him and his comments, and that was most definitely not the case. But moving on, I really don't have a lot of news left. The Egyptian set Assassin's Creed game that's coming out called Assassin's Creed Origins is going to feature, allegedly is going to feature 2 protagonists in naval combat. And what's important to realize about that is that's exactly the same things that have been true for the previous 2 Assassin's Creed games. That you've had naval combat in Black Flag, and what was the one after Black Flag? Is Synergy? Assassin's Creed Synergy, or Synchronicity, or Singularity? It's some kind of S word. I don't. Was set in London, and it had a brother and sister team, and you could play as either one, and so the way the Assassin's Creed series gets made gives me the idea that more than likely concepts come down from the top of Ubisoft, and they're just given to the 2 teams that are working on the next 2 video games, and the concepts that are liked in those next 2 video games or in the previous 2 video games are often just encoded into the next game. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the beginning of always having 2 protagonists and always having naval combat, or at least I could see always having 2 protagonists and for a long time having naval combat, which again gets really far away from what I think of when I think of Assassin's Creed games. It's a long journey compared to Assassin's Creed 1, when you see all the features and all the abilities and everything that just gets tagged on and added on. I mean, I'm just playing Brotherhood, which is the 3rd game that was released, and even then there's a lot of puzzles and mechanics that I kind of wish weren't there. I really wish for the Ezio collection, instead of just doing a remaster of the original games, they thought of a easier abridged version of the game. Particularly in Brotherhood, if you just started with all the shops upgraded and fully invested, and it just allowed you to have income earning potential right off the beginning. By the time you were halfway through running just through the story missions, you would be able to afford probably all the armor and upgrades. There's also just a ton of side missions I'm running into with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood that I finally came down to it, and said to myself, I'm gonna have a come to Jesus moment at some point and just play the main stories and ignore everything else, because I just don't see oops, that's not what I meant to do. That is not what I meant to do at all. Whatever. For the wild. So I've either won the game or... There we go. Nice. But right now I'm still running around doing a lot of the side stuff in Brotherhood, and it feels like just an incredible waste of time. So that mostly leaves just previews, except for I could talk about the new YouTube Red shows, or not YouTube at all. There was one from Ellen DeGeneres is making one of them, and several other famous actors from TV are making them, and it's just like YouTube is desperately trying to turn its back on actual YouTube content creators, people who know what people on YouTube want to see and do interesting things, in favor of more popular and richer people that aren't going to get that hold of that audience, and they're going to fail miserably. Like, I have never heard anybody say, oh, I love YouTube Red for its original content, and now that YouTube wants to do this YouTube TV stuff, they're going to become popular in, like, California, San Francisco, because that's one of their first markets. But in actuality, real people, regular people, aren't ever going to be able to get YouTube TV. And even if they did, they weren't going to be as popular or hyped about it as the San Francisco people, because they won't get the local stations as much. So as far as previews, there's a puzzle side scroller called Old Man's Journey that's coming out on PC on May 18th. So that looks slightly interesting. Emily is Away 2 is coming out on PC on May 26th. And For the Wilds. Let's see. And let's see. Emily Aways 2 is a AOL chat simulator story thing. There were 2 Japanese-only Vita games that were with names too long to write down. I was running out of space. I don't think particularly I'm going to bother to announce visual novels or Japanese-only games, particularly if they're coming out for the PlayStation Vita, since the PlayStation Vita has really no audience in the United States, and my channel by default has to be at least the English-speaking countries. And so if it's just coming out in Japan, if I was speaking Japanese right now, if I could speak Japanese, and my channel was for Japanese people, then I would cover Japanese only games. But since it isn't, it isn't. I do talk about Japanese games a lot, certainly, because they are the second biggest market. And the third biggest market is probably all of Europe combined, as far as people that make video games. One Japanese game that is coming out for PS4 is Dark Rose Valkyrie on the June 6th for North America and the 9th for Europe. That's another issue, is do I say it's coming out on this day if it's coming out in North America, or do I bother to write down Europe? And a lot of times that's just, it comes down to how much room I have on my whiteboard to write down. The final chapter of The Dream Machine is coming out May 11th. I've had my eye on The Dream Machine because it has an interesting art style, but I've kept refusing to buy it until they finished it, the game. And maybe now they've finally finished the game. Let's see. I'm gonna lose here. The Legend of Heroes Trails of the Sky the Third is finally available for PC worldwide. 10 years. I did not stutter. 10 years after it came out for Japan. So, that is crazy, certainly. That's a JRPG game. And then, let's see. A lot of people are saying Mario Kart 8X, no, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is really good. I would love to play a PC version of a game like Mario Kart. I'm still certainly looking for that, but I haven't found it. And it would have to be pretty single player. I did see some people play Mario Kart 8, and it does look like it's potentially the best Mario Kart so far. So I'm not really surprised there. I'll help sell a few Switches if Nintendo has Switches in stock to be purchased. And then the final thing is, while Prey mostly is smooth sailing and runs mostly well, there is a low frames per second part in the game in the reactor room. So if you get in the reactor room, I'm not playing Prey, so I don't know where that is particularly. My own opinion is it looks like Prey might be a slightly shorter game that wants you to play in multiple playthroughs. And if it's closer to BioShock, then I kind of think it's probably not as close to BioShock as I think. It's probably close in gameplay and not in story. And I feel like games like that, and even Prey in particular, feels like it should be this longer 15 to 30 hour one time through experience, not a 5 to 15 hour gameplay where you want to come back and play it. Particularly, they've been pushing the morph abilities of the aliens, where you can aliens can morph themselves, and it feels like also that that you'll eventually get those abilities yourself and morph yourself into different items. They've been talking about that a lot, and that doesn't seem like that's an interesting or useful gameplay mechanic. There's also this glue gun that it seems like you're going to use a lot to glue creatures, which seems like that's going to make it slower than you would normally expect for a gameplay mechanic. And then some of the other guns seem like they're just standard weapons. Like one of them, I think, was just a silenced pistol. So you go from a glue gun to a silenced pistol. Seems kind of crazy. So there's a lot that's going to vary depending on how interesting it is to fight the enemies. Darn it, counterspell. More than likely I will end up playing Prey. It's just I'm not hyper interested in it And I don't know anything about the ending, so maybe Prey sets up for a sequel, maybe it doesn't. That could certainly change my mind on how quickly I want to play a game like that, because I might find out that you might find out that there's never going to be another Prey game like that. I heard an interesting thing is, since Prey is just using the same name as a previous Bethesda game called Prey, if you try to install the previous game and then install the new game just installs on top of the other one and deletes the folder, which seems very odd. Like, very, very odd that you wouldn't have a better system for that. And clearly that needs to be patched. It needs to be patched either through Steam's default system or just in general. But that really gets back to the point that the word Prey is just far too general a name, that even in their own file structure architecture, they didn't bother to identify it with a date. The appropriate thing to do would be to have the new game be called Prey, then parentheses 2017. That's how you would normally do something like that. I'm gonna die.
This jungle hides many secrets.
Give that minion a turn. Get ready.
And with that, I'm out of things to talk about, so this is gonna be first and last call, I suppose. Probably not really the last call though. I said last call last stream a lot, and technically last call would be the exact last time you call. But if people want to friend or follow me, friend me on Hearthstone, and challenge me and play, let me know. Send me friend requests. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, what's going to happen is when we hit the 30-minute mark, I'm going to end this recording, and then I'm going to go silent and just mute my microphone and stream the rest of the game play until I get the quest done without talking at all. That seems to work pretty well for me. It allows me to show, if people just want to watch me play Hearthstone, it allows me to show that while not also trying to talk. Still having sinus pressure issues with my ear and teeth, so talking is hurting my jaw. So I want to take a little bit of a break anyways. That's definitely something I need to fix, but I tell you, the after effects and the effects in general of having a cold, that has been particularly hard on me this year. I've not experienced this before.
Job done.
I certainly do have a fear that as I'm struggling to play, darn it, I should have played this first. As I'm struggling to play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, get that done, I have this fear that I've fallen behind. I'm pretty sure I have. And that one day something is going to have supposed to air, and it just won't have been scheduled at all. The other issue is, I've noticed, particularly on this Sunday, I noticed a decent amount of people that release videos on Sunday that I'm not usually used to releasing videos on Sunday. So I don't know if this is part of a instructions that were given to people on YouTube, bigger people than me, to release every day. And I, in general, know that YouTube wants to promote channels that release every day. I just can't, I can't justify it, and I can't get enough footage for it. If I did that, I'd have to make a pretty big shift in how many videos are released every Monday and Friday otherwise. To accommodate 7 days a week and with no breaks at all. And frankly, I just don't think that serves the customer as well. I don't think people who do want to actually watch my channel are better served to be given no breaks whatsoever of when footage comes out. I have over 4,000 videos. It seems silly that people wouldn't be able to, if they want to see my channel, go back to my playlist and just search the playlist and watch an entire coverage of an entire like run of a game that interests you. I know people don't do that as much as I would like, but I still actually feel like that's the best solution.
The menagerie is for guests only.
And attack here. This druid deck is not as good as it should be. It's definitely not as good as it should be. Doesn't win enough. I hope you're seeing the mouse cursor here and it's not blinking.
That didn't quite hit the mark.
I messed it up last live stream because people were saying it was blinking, and it was blinking certainly, but it's because of this Hearthstone deck tracker overlay app, and I may not be able to fix it, or I think I may have fixed it. Personally, it doesn't look like it's blinking to me, but that doesn't change what other people see.
For honor. The honor all upon us.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose here. And see, I don't even really have anything new to talk about. This is the problem of playing Hearthstone every 3 days. If it just let me wait once a week, I'd have a decent amount of conversations that I could have. But
Well played.
nope. It wants me to play Hearthstone every 3 days. I couldn't imagine doing this every day. Just every day, all day, playing Hearthstone. I would just turn on music. I would just put on headphones and turn on music and never talk. And if, I suppose, people commented and I had a lot of fans, I'd stream all day. Alright, we got a new person that looks like a real name, so I won't say it out loud. It says, "I think you're a great aspiring YouTuber." Which, maybe that's chat spam, but I'll say thanks anyway.
Malfurion versus Valera.
Watch your back.
I must protect the wild.
Aspiring, I suppose, is the right phrase. Like, I'm trying to think of what the right comment besides thanks is there. I am an aspiring YouTuber. I am a YouTuber, but I'm aspiring to be successful in a field that is very, very flooded, and it's very hard to be successful. Yes. Is this the kind of game you're into? Says the same person. Hearthstone? Actually, not really at all. I like collectible card games, but it's not. I'm not a super fan of Hearthstone because Hearthstone is very greedy and you have to buy a bunch of card packs and it takes forever for you to accomplish anything as far as the quests and getting enough gold or dust to get cards or anything like that. So while I have yet to find something better than Hearthstone, I'm not a super fan of Hearthstone, and I don't play it when I'm not streaming, and I try to limit the amount of time I do spend playing Hearthstone because it takes so much. In general, I'm trying to be more of a generalist, I guess would be the phrase, and cover many different games. I have a series that I was doing where I was covering the Legos games for kids. I have the series that I'm doing that is for point-and-click adventures. I have a series for older A-tier and AAA tier games. I have a time slot that I release on for puzzle games and all of that. So I do everything. Why am I playing games that you don't really enjoy? Because this Hearthstone, I enjoy it enough to play it. I mean, it's a great question. I enjoy it enough to play it every 3 days and stay up with it, and it gives me something to do while I'm talking about the video game news and such. So this is kind of my personal blog series. If I was, for instance, trying to play a first-person shooter like Call of Duty and blog, I would not only not be able to pay enough attention to the blog, I wouldn't be able to pay enough attention to the first-person shooting either. So both would heavily suffer. In Hearthstone, since it's turn-based and card-based play, I don't suffer as much. I do suffer in not having as much focus as I should often, but I can get away with talking about the news and talking about my channel while playing Hearthstone, and until I find something else I can blog on, that's why I play Hearthstone, and I enjoy it enough. It's just that it's not something that I would go out of my way to play. Also, I could certainly see people who play Hearthstone on their cell phones and have commutes having more of a reason to play it. As a YouTuber who only plays video games in front of their computer and only has time to play video games, I don't commute anywhere, I don't do anything else. I do this as my job all day. I have the plethora of my Steam library, which I have over 600 games on my Steam library to try to sort through and play all of those. And so I can get a lot more options. Whereas if somebody was stuck on a bus, stuck commuting on a train or something, I could certainly see Hearthstone being the best portable game for people. I don't really find that my attitude to Hearthstone is too far from a lot of friends. Okay, a lot of Hearthstone players are not really happy with the way Hearthstone has gone. A lot of the casual players aren't that happy with it. A lot of the professional people aren't that happy with it. But we all kind of stick with it because we haven't found anything better. I'll just call him Jack, is his comment here. The reason I'm watching is because I'm learning to play Kerbal Space Program, which is so effing hard. Kerbal Space Program is effing hard. And that's really what I had to resolve to it, and I haven't played Kerbal Space Program in a lot of ways. If you haven't run into it yet, you probably are going to be suggested my tutorial runs through that game, and the audio is going to be really bad about it. Let me just go ahead and pre-apologize for that. I tried to fix the audio as best as I could, but the system in that game to balance the audio just did not account for the noise when you were in space. It accounted for other things. So I did set the audio to what I thought was right, and then the audio in the game got really, really loud. So Jack then stumbled onto my channel trying to learn Kerbal Space Program. Honestly, I don't have a better suggestion for a space simulator. I think in a lot of ways Kerbal Space Program is a decent space simulator for the physics and the orbits and stuff, but it doesn't tutorialize anything well. It doesn't teach the player well. What really happened there is they forced it into a 1.0 release when it's not a 1.0 game, and it's not designed with players in mind. It's designed with geniuses in mind, as far as people who would have the ability to figure out orbital mechanics and such. So personally, I played a little bit of Kerbal Space Program. I played a decent amount of it, and then I just said, you know what? Some of that stuff like docking, I'm never gonna get. It's too finicky. It takes too much precision. There's concepts that I just don't understand. I think by the time you've figured out how to very consistently get a rocket into space, and if you have enough to get a rocket into space and into orbit, you should probably consider yourself having beaten the game. And then just, I would say, maybe a bonus level of the idea of landing on the moon would be something.
Join the pack.
Well, I think I still lost here. See. Okay, Jack responded again. Don't worry, I've already heard the audio, but it didn't bother me. Yeah, I'm stuck on the docking tutorial. Frowny face. Thank you, Jack, for not being bothered. So many people have commented on that video, and every person that comments on the video increases how many people get suggested that video. And then they come back and they complain about the audio. Even though I have a pinned note saying, look, I messed up the audio, I know it, I can't do anything about it. We've gone 30 minutes, so that's going to be it for this recording, but stay tuned if you're online. If anybody wants to comment or talk, since Jack is actually talking to me, I'll stay online until it seems like Jack is out of things to say, and then I'll go mostly silent to play the rest of these challenges, which we still have a lot to do. One more druid victory and then 2 more hunter things. We didn't make as many wins as I'd like. Jack says, I believe after a lot of trial and error I could get to the moon. Yeah, if you can get to the moon, consider yourself an expert on it. There's certainly a lot of more things you can technically do, but the game just doesn't help you learn how to play the game at all. It just throws you in this open sandbox and forces you to play. And Jack says, I saw the comments. That's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.